Okay, there we go. I just forgot I was muted for like half a minute. Whoopsies. Whoopsies. I started talking and I noticed I was muted. So that's completely my fault. completely, completely my fault. Okay. Round 3 for the 2025 Formula 1 Grand Prix is about to kick underway. We with coming out of last round, you guys voted in the poll that I did a while ago. I think it was maybe just under 12 hours ago. You guys said Oscar Piastri will top FP1. Let's see if that happens. Now, of course, this was done nearly like I don't know, 8 or so hours ago. So I'm streaming after it happens. So for those people that do know, you can definitely tell me because I wouldn't really care. I'm just really doing it at this point. But 3 different compounds heading into this weekend. It is the hard, the medium, and the soft. C4, C5, and C6. So this is the first practice session here. Round 4 at Bahrain. Here. So this is going to be an interesting weekend. I'm rooting for Lando Norris. I reckon he has some pretty good pace to take it to especially Max Verstappen. He's leading the championship, but by not the biggest margin known to man. He's currently leading the championship, so I don't know. It'll be quite tight. As the cars line up at the end of the pit lane, and they will be getting ready to head out of the pit lane and get their first few laps down. But track conditions aren't too bad. It's about 37 degrees track temperature, so the track temperature is quite high, and there's a lot of UV on the circuit. So it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers will face those conditions here. We have a few rookies in this session. A few backup drivers: Iwasa, Frederick Vesti, Drogovic, Hirawaka, Browning, and so Frederick Vesti is currently on screen at the moment. He's going to be taking this first practice session. Felipe Drogovic as well is going to be taking this first practice session. He's replacing Lance Stroll in this one. So yeah, it's gonna be good to watch. Also Luke Browning as well. He's out there in the Williams, replacing Logan Sargent for this 60-minute session. Wassa as well, replacing, I'm guessing, no, that's not Max Verstappen, that is Yuki Tsunoda, so Iwasa replacing him. No, he's replacing Verstappen, so in this session he will be replacing Max Verstappen and filling in his shoes for this session. There is Oliver Behrman there at the pit wall, watching on. Cars are about to head out to the circuit. Green light at the end of the pit lane is about to come on, and we're going to get the first indication as to how quick everyone is out there, and if they are quick. Iwaka in the Haas, I think he's replacing, I'm not sure exactly who he's replacing. I think it's Ollie Behrman, so he's replacing Ollie Behrman out there. And then, of course, Lewis Hamilton. No one's replacing him, but his teammate is being replaced by... Yeah, most of the rookies are actually out there in the pit lane. But the green light is on at the end of the pit lane, and the cars are now rolling and heading out of the pit lane now. There's a few important things that I'm just going to be rolling over throughout this session. Because again, it is a 60-minute practice session. So 60 minutes for some of the reserve drivers to get their head around these cars. Some of them might have hopped out an F3 car a while ago, and also a few others of them might also have hopped out of an F2 car. So a bit interesting here, but it's F3 and F2 are completely different. Replacing Charles Leclerc Beganoff, he's just hopped out of an F3 car, so jumping from an F3 to an F1 car is totally different. Giovinazzi as well as a reserve driver. He's not out there at the moment, but I think he's in reserve for Lewis Hamilton. I'm not sure when he'll be making his way out, but of course this is big enough in Road to Formula 1, so he's taken first place in Frankrijk. He took the championship out in the Formula Regional European Championship. Took 6th in Formula 3. 3rd in Formula 3, so he's done Formula 3 2 years in a row. And this year, he's not doing too bad. So he's on his road to Formula 1. I'm guessing he's going to be joining Ferrari as a bit of a, reserve driver. But Emil Iwasa, Super Formula, he came first place in this year in 2025. 2024 continued in Super Formula, 5th place. He did pretty well there by count. He also took out in Formula 3 and of course Formula 2, which is what we like to call the road to Formula 1. Here, Frederick Vesti though, he took place in GTP this year, 6th place, and then P2 as well, took 9th place, and then 2 years in a row, back in 2022 and 2023, he took 2 9th places in Formula 2. So a few young guns heading into this year, and I'm guessing they're going to be wanting to get their hopes up quite high, set their standards, as well as Paul Aaron replacing in there with, I'm guessing that's Jack Doohan. Yes, I'm guessing that's Jack Doohan. He's going to be in there for him. Hiroaka in the Haas, he's out there at the moment. For most of these drivers, it's going to be completely different track conditions to what it was in testing when they were last here. Testing was the last time some of the main drivers were here. Sonoda, Nice, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Bortoleto, Lawson, Antonelli, Hamilton. All the track conditions are going to be so much more different to what they were in testing, with a lot more rubber put down from Formula 3 and Formula 2 from their practice sessions, and now they're running out there. So preceding this session was a Formula 3, I think it was Formula 2. Formula 2 was preceding here, so completely different track conditions, and the track is quite hot as well. So it's going to be interesting to see who can pull the best out of their car early on. But of course, it is just practice 1, so looking for a bit of leeway for most of these drivers, especially some of the reserve drivers as well. Hiroaka at the moment at the top on 38.2, so not an indicative time, but of course, just the first practice session. Esteban Ocon has now popped to the top. Ollie Behrman on screen. He's done pretty well in the recent rounds. This is Frederick Vesti outbraking himself at turn 1, going straight on and missed the apex. Actually, come out of turn 1, ran wide, went to get back on the throttle and slid it sideways. So just locking up that one right front tyre straight on. And then as he went to get back on the power, he's slid it sideways. So there you go. Drogovic has just done the exact same thing. No, sorry, that's Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll's just done the exact same thing on the hard compound tyre. Tyre degradation is also going to be a talking point here, as one of the biggest talking points is the degradation around Bahrain. It is quite high. So when it comes to the race, it's going to be interesting to see what tyres are going to be used. Ocon there on the radio saying the car is pulling in a lot. The straight line feels fine though. So in terms of straight line speed for Ocon, he seems to be doing pretty well. Meanwhile, for Oscar Piastri, he did well last time out in Japan. Quite a flowing race for him. He didn't do too bad actually. He was there or thereabouts in terms of the pace. It was actually a 1-2 for McLaren. So McLaren did a pretty good job. And they're extending their lead in the constructors round by round. And normally Bahrain is the opening round, but this season it was Australia. So completely different to this circuit, completely different to Japan, completely different to China as well. Japan and China have long right-handers that lead into fast left and right. So the first corner of Japan, totally different to Bahrain when you've got heavy braking zones. And it's the same for Japan. I mean, heavy braking zones. We saw that with Jack Doohan having a massive hit with the barrier down there at turn 1. It was the DRS. It was genuinely the DRS that caught him off guard there. He struggled a bit with that. And I'm guessing that's just something that people learn. Peter Bonington on screen there in the Mercedes garage. Head of Mercedes watching on. So Kimi Antonelli's currently out there just getting a feel for the car, possibly talking to the team, letting the team know. But Jack Doohan, that crash last time out at Japan was mental. I mean, Antonelli's got no power. So no wonder. I was thinking there, he's going extremely slow. So Antonelli's got no power down there, and Oscar Piastri just running wide, off the top part of Bahrain. I probably should have brought my track map down here next to me. So it seems like Oscar's struggling with a lot of understeer in that car. So understeer is practically when the car is pushing too much and you go to turn the wheel and it doesn't want to turn. So the car's got too much push. So maybe a bit too much front wing. That can be a thing. That is quite possible. Drugovich out on his first flying lap here in his first practice session. So he's out on his first lap, and don't expect a big time, but he sliced sideways coming out of turn 4, and thankfully for that, he's just gone just under a second down on Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri. Lando Norris in the first sector. For Felipe Drugovich, 2025, he took place in IMSA GTP, was 9th place. He also took place in LMP2, 15th place. So Felipe Drugovich is pretty well in terms of the GT racing. He's done a lot of it. He also took place in Formula 3 and Formula 2, so not a bad place to start in his career, but he's currently on his first lap at the moment, and he's doing pretty well. So I think he's done about 4 laps so far, and he's probably hoping to improve. So yeah, Drugovich has done about 4 laps so far. I reckon that's just probably the most important thing to do. Just keep doing laps. See where you get yourself at the end of the session. That lap 1 minute 39.2. It actually did bump him up a few spots. That's bumped him up to 17th. So it dropped him from the back to the front. Well, closer to the front, 17th. Just under 50 minutes to go in this session. Kimi Antonelli sorry, this is Frederick Vesti locking up the rear tyres a little bit. So that can, when that happens, maybe when you on the approach speed, and that's actually down at, no, that's down at the hairpin. So maybe a bit too much rear wing. So drivers also probably struggling just a little bit. A lot of offs so far in this session. And as I said at the start of the session, there's a lot of degradation. So this circuit tends to destroy tyres more or less, and the curbs are quite punishing. Balance is just not working for Lewis Hamilton at the moment, and he's not able to get the best of the tyres, and the engineers just said they're trying to maximise full throttle to get full charge out of it. So he's not maximising the grip that are in the, what tyre is he on at the moment? The hard compound tyre. So he's not getting the most out of those tyres, which is, it's quite strange because such high, I mean, the surface, you look at the surface of the circuit and you think it is actually quite a low grip surface. So it actually, surface at all doesn't look like a high grip surface. So that's probably why you're seeing people like Hamilton saying on the radio, struggling for grip. For Hamilton, that can be a thing for him. But talking about Japan last time out, we saw Lando Norris take Japan. He was quite dominant for Lando Norris. He just sort of pulled a margin. He just ran away. That's the definition of that race, in a way. And then you saw Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen sort of pull him back in a way, try and pull him back down. So Piastri there over the radio saying front wing a little bit high. So he's also complaining for zero grip. So that's what I was saying just a moment ago. The track isn't a high grip surface, and of course when this surface hasn't been, re-tarmacked, so it's quite a low grip surface. And that's the thing is, it's completely different to testing when they were last here, nearly 3 months ago. Completely different. So yeah, that's Piastri there, just a bit of complaining. Lawson there saying over the radio, speaking about balance, he's saying that the balance is shocking on that car. So, shocking. Hopefully that changes later on in this session, because don't exactly want a shocking setup here. Liam Lawson, Isaac Hadjar scored his first points last time out in Japan. He's not done too bad. Scored his first points, 2 points. So he was quite happy with that. Indeed, he was indeed happy. Happiest I think I've ever seen Isaac Hadjar. But he was definitely happy with that, and he's currently at the moment just circulating, trying to get acclimatized with the circuit. Now, it's definitely, as I said, low grip surface, so a lot of drivers sort of struggling in a way. Struggling is probably the word to use here in this session. He's, at the moment, Lando Norris is at the top, 1 minute 35.249. He's actually not pulled a bad lap there. He actually improved, so he's improved on that lap than what it was before. It was a 35.7. He's improved, he's done a 35.2. Now, in qualifying, I'm going to probably be expecting maybe 32, 33, maybe even 34, 33s. But of course, the way the circuit is at the moment, it is currently at the moment low grip. And that's the thing with this surface, is I'll continue saying it is such a low grip surface. So if you're going to get maximum grip out of it, you're going to need quite high wings because of the low grip surface. And of course, it is not very much a downforce circuit. It's very much a balance. You need a balanced setup around here. You can find that setup, you should be good. You find that pinpoint, you should also be good. Alex Albon on screen at the moment in the Williams. He's had some pretty good success around here. I mean, if you're going to say that Alex Albon has not really got the best out of that car, I mean, he's probably been overperforming it a little bit. He's been probably 13th or 14th. It should be probably a few spots lower. Alex Albon at the moment, he's on a fast for second sector, and, well, he's only about 8 thousandths off. So he improved there by nearly half a second. So that second sector is quite good there for Alex Albon. Improved by just under half a second. So he's pulled that margin back down now to 8 thousandths over Lando Norris. Yuki Tsunoda's just popped up in the Red Bull, up into 6th. That margin up into 6th. Also, Ocon moved up into 4th as well. So, top 10 at the moment, nice. Albon, Piastri, Ocon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Hamilton, Jack Doohan, Stroll, and Gabriele Bortoleto. At the moment, Lando Norris, in terms of the battle with his teammate. Hamilton there saying, want to take... So, team asking Hamilton there, want to put more push onto it. He's saying, no, the car is horrendous. So, he's still struggling with that car there for Ferrari. It is known to struggle this early on in the session, this early on in the weekend. It is known to struggle. But maybe some of it is just the way the track is. I mean, maybe it might just be the low grip surface that cars are struggling with here. So that might just be it. So it might just be the low grip surface that people are struggling with. Wasser at the moment in the Red Bull, replacing Verstappen for this session. He's currently on a lap, starting his lap as he heads turn 1 and into turn 2. The circuit very much is apex. You need to very much hit your apexes. Apex defined. So if you hit your apexes, you should be good. In Wasser at the moment, he's on a good lap at the moment. He's only down by 6 tenths over Lando Norris in the first sector. But it's a personal best, so at the moment, this is on to put him 3rd in this session. So this is looking to be a good lap. This is on to put him 3rd. So if he doesn't back out of this, he could possibly move himself up there. Just keep an eye out here for this second sector to see what this lap is indicative to. It's about 3rd or 4th at the moment. So second sector pops up around here. So it's still about half a second off in the second sector. That's dropped him now to about 9th or 10th. So still a pretty good lap so far from Wasser. He'll round the final corner, get as close as you can to the apex. If you do that, you should be good. Piastri, Hulkenberg moves up into 4th. It's going to be a good lap, probably 11th or 10th. Oh, he's dropped a lot of time in that last sector, but it's up into 16th. So that lap was on to put him 11th. That only put him 16th. So Verstappen there reacting to that one. 16th. So not a bad time. Especially for rookies like that. Hirawaka in 15th for the moment. Just who's leading the rookies? Who is Frederick Vesti? He's currently leading the rookies. He's done a 39.9. 1 minute 39.9. I'm guessing that's the time. Might be a bit lower. Stroll popped up into 10th on that lap that he's just done. So, not a bad start. Definitely, for most of these cars, you can see the change in terms of grip levels. So when this track grips up, it's got quite that high grip surface to it. So when you get the maximum amount of grip out of it, it feels quite satisfying actually. When you get the car right, when you get the car pinned quite nicely, it feels quite nice. But Albon just on that lap. Oh, he's just popped to first, so not a bad lap for Albon. He's done a 35.1, so went straight to the top there for Alex Albon. 35.1. I was about to say, those sectors look pretty good for Alex Albon, and he's just popped to the top. So, not a bad start. Gasly popped up into third on that lap. Liam Lawson is also on a good lap at the moment, so watch out for him in that RB. He's on to pop up a few spots if he can improve. Does he? He does. 7th. Field is very spread out at the moment. The top 7 is separated by a second. It is insane. Field is separated by 1 whole second. The top 7 is separated by 1 second. So that gap will close in when you come closer to practice 3 or even practice 2 next session. That margin will, I promise you this much, that margin will close in. And it will close in quick. Djokovic, at the moment, he's on a lap on the hard tyres. Personal best to the first sector. Of course, for most of these rookies, it is their first session out. Not their first session out on the track, because of course some of these drivers might have also been running in Formula 3 or Formula 2 for their practice and qualifying sessions. The other person that's improving is Iwasa as well, so just watch out for that. For maybe him to pop up if needed. Djokovic up into 17th. 38.0, so only a second off of, 2.5 seconds off. Iwasa up into 11th. That's not a bad lap. 36.8. So that car's gradually getting better and better for him. Valtteri Bottas in the garage as the third driver. He's on the pit wall at the moment, just watching on. And that looks to be Kimi Antonelli. So Mercedes completed the first most laps in pre-season testing with 458 laps. So for Mercedes, it's quite helpful because you come back here and you come to like a low grip surface like this, and that's actually quite good. So 458 laps for him. So Mercedes, what they'll be doing is they'll be probably tuning the car to maybe pre-season testing, if possible. That might be a thing that will be happening. But at the moment, we're still green 31.5 minutes to go. Gabriele Bortoleto, he's on a lap at the moment. He's on the soft compound tyre, so immediately, maybe testing the soft tyres around here. Now, we're going to actually ride on board here with Bortoleto and get a feel as to where this car is sitting. Now, the first sector is as you pop down over here and oh my god, that is an amazing first sector there from Bortoleto. He's half a second up on this lap. He's purple, and I can tell you this much, the timing screens are legitimately lighting up for Bortoleto. He's magenta to the first sector. Can he keep it going as he hits the hairpin, turn 10? If he can keep this going, he's on for a good lap here on the soft compound tyre. First driver to actually really use the softer of the tyres here. So when you've got the higher levels of, we've got C4, C5 and C6. He's on the C6 tyre, meaning it wears more quicker. Grains more quicker. Yeah, but he's on a good lap at the moment. It is magenta. He's lining up the timing screens and he's under steer wide. Now, that's probably going to lose him a couple of tenths, but he's on to go to the top, and he probably will. He does. Gabriele Bortoleto, 134.6 on the soft tyres. So, good indication there for the Kick-Sauber team. Jonathan Weasley there looking on. He'll be happy with that one. 34.6, good indication as to how grippy the softs are. Yuki Tsunoda. He's got his hand. Is he reaching down at something? Or, I'm not sure. But, so, that's weird. So, just saying there over the radio, he actually missed the pit bay for Yuki Tsunoda. So that's something that can happen around here. Iwaka on screen at the moment. He is down in 16th, and he's on now on the soft tyres. So, some people doing some early quali runs. Yeah. People doing some early quali runs. Not a bad idea, actually. Gabriele Bortoleto owns all three sectors, and the first sector for Gabriele is a 29.6. Iwaka. He can, if he does well on this lap, he has a chance to go a bit further up. At the moment, he's about 6 tenths off, so he's matching Lando Norris to the first sector. The other person that's out there is Nico Hülkenberg on the soft compound tyre. So, some of the bigger guns, especially Nico Hülkenberg, he's out there on the soft tyres, including Iwaka as well. Just see what the second sector's like. So, at the moment, it's on par with Lando Norris this lap for Iwaka. Just see what he can do. Here, he's about a second off. He's on par with Nico Hülkenberg up in 7th. But there you go. Hülkenberg's just gone fastest to the second sector. So watch out for him. Fastest to the second sector. Lighting the timing screens up a little bit. Hey, Wacker, what's this lap going to be? Not a bad lap. 5th. Moving up the field. So at the moment, kicks Alba 1-2 here in this first practice session. Just under 25 minutes to go. So Hubaka on that last lap, he moved up to 6th. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. Not as fast. So the time where he lost was actually in Sector 2. So the time that he lost was in Sector 2. Piastri out on soft tyres now, and this is actually going to be not a bad lap, because intuitively that first sector is a couple tenths off Hulkenberg. So first sector is not too bad for Piastri. Just watching out for him here, as we're looking on board here with the help cam, and it's showing that he's up in that first sector. He's showing that he's up by 6 tenths in that second sector. Sorry, 3 tenths. He's now up, and the second sector is the fastest that we've seen. So showing that the soft tyres are strong around here, but how long are they strong for? Here, so Piastri out and around in the final corner. He's on to improve. He's actually slid it sideways. He nearly went straight into the barrier. So coming out of the final corner, he slid it straight sideways and nearly slammed it into the barrier. So out of the final corner, so he came out of the final corner and nearly actually spun it into the barrier. So Zach Brown watching on, saying that car's a bit loose in the rear end. Most definitely. Most definitely. Liam Lawson, I'm going to guess this is Liam Lawson. It might be, it's Hadjar. So Hadjar, first sector, it is at the moment not too far away from Hulkenberg to that first sector. It's not matching Hulkenberg. It's not faster than Hulkenberg. It's a couple tenths slower. So not too far out. The man that owns the second sector still is Hulkenberg. So people now running out the soft compound tyre. Another person is Esteban Ocon in the Haas. So watch out for him in the second sector. Can't add chart to that second sector. He is half a second off. This is on to put him 4th. So the lap that Hulkenberg did is actually quite a good lap. But this lap here for Hadjar, it's on to put him about 4th. Ocon matching Hulkenberg to the second sector. And he does so. Hadjar, fastest third sector. So the FIA here are noting the fact of Tsunoda and Albon, an incident in the pit lane. Ocon, watch out for him on this lap. This might go to the top, and it does. And it's by 7 thousandths of a second. 1:34.1. Tsunoda's also on a quick lap at the moment. He's in the Red Bull. He's down in 12th. The first sector, not matching Ocon. So people running out on the soft tyres. Albon also up there in 7th. Gasly, there's a bit of a hot hour going on here. He's fastest to the first sector for Gasly. He's on to go to the top if he can keep the numbers up. Tsunoda, second sector, just a tad off Albon. Sorry, just a tad off Ocon. Here, so the back end of this session with 20 minutes remaining, it's lighting up. Jack Doohan up in 3rd, 2 tenths off the pace. Jack Doohan. Yuki Tsunoda, does he pop up? He does, up into 4th. So this is a good start to the session. Gasly, he's half a second up to that second sector. Watch for him. Alex Albon, his numbers are on to go top, and it does! With a 33.9. Alex Albon. He's up there. Pierre Gasly, though, watch out. He's on to go to the top, and this is going to be a really good time here. If he can stitch it together, he does, and he stitches all 3 sectors, and it's by half a second. 1:33.442. Now, we've still got Lando Norris to run for the soft tyres. So that's, wow, that's quick. So in the back end of that session there, we just saw a bunch of hot laps happen. And boy, were they quick. So that was That was a fast fire session. Gasly, 33.442. 133.442, the fastest lap. With just under 20 minutes to go. Just over 20 minutes to go. Alex Albon, he's out there in second. He's kind of in a cool down lap at the moment. He's only half a second off, so 29.7, 40.6, and a 23.5 to the first, second, and third sector. And that's that. Put that time together. 1 minute 33.8. This is what happened to Yuki Tsunoda coming down the final corner. Oh, he took too much of the curb and just the car rattled sideways. Now, this is what I was talking about with Oscar Piastri. He was nearly going to end that car up in the barrier. He was about 2 seconds. He was about half a second away from putting that car in the barrier on the right-hand side. He was right out sideways, out on the dirty stuff, and that is the indication that car's a bit loose. Yuki Tsunoda, so this is what happened in the pit lane. Oh, okay, so that's the problem, is you actually can't do that. Coming out of the pit lane, you can't just pass someone coming straight out of the pit lane. Yeah, so that's noted. That's why the FIA have actually noted that incident, because that's not exactly what you can do. There's rules is what you can and can't do, and that is something you probably can't do in the pit lane. So they're just the FIA are going to get both stories out of that to see what's actually happened for that to actually happen. Lance Stroll, first sector, he's about, that's about 6/10 to the first sector. A second to the second sector, the car a bit sideways at the moment. So struggling a little bit maybe. Lance Stroll, 16th at the moment. He's about a second off. This is matching with Piastri to the second sector. Lost about 6/10 in that last sector. So that only moved him up to 11th. Lance Stroll, he's actually scored all of Aston Martin's points this season. Quite surprisingly. So that's not a bad start. Not a bad start at all for Lance Stroll. So if you were to really break that down, that's not bad. So that's for Lance Stroll, he's had a good thing to himself about that, and he's definitely liking what he's seeing. And we're liking what we're seeing here. So Lando Norris, he's now a guy that's out there on the soft tyres. So he's run out there on the soft tyres. Liam Lawson and also Isaac Hadjar. So the FIA are now investigating impeding at turn 13 for Albon and Luke Browning. So Lando Norris, watch out for him. He's magenta to the second sector. He's also magenta to the first sector. So watch out for him as he hits the apex at the final corner. Car maybe a bit understeering. He had to give that 2 flicks of the steering wheel. But Lando Norris, to the top, owns all 3 sectors now. 33.204. He goes to the top by just under 2/10. Liam Lawson, 7th, just under a second off. And he does a 33.3 on that lap. Isaac Hadjar goes to 11th, stays 11th, 34.8. So 16 and a bit minutes to go in this session. I'm actually going to turn my microphone on here so I can use this. Might as well use my microphone here. There's every point in using it, but yeah. Lando Norris, he's fastest to all 3 sectors. Lewis Hamilton locking up coming into the pits. So they had to fully lock those front tyres to get the car physically stopped. If you actually didn't lock the front tyres there, you wouldn't have got the car stopped. So that's why you see drivers locking the
front wheels to try and get the car stopped heading into the pit lane. That's good practice, actually, for the race. So if the less times you have to do that, and the more times you actually practice doing that, the less times you probably won't get a penalty from speeding in the pit lane. So it's good that he's practicing that. It's good that he's actually physically trying to get the car stopped in the pit lane. So that was quite close to actually going over the speed limit. So the speed limit heading into the pit lane, it's 80 kilometers an hour. Can't go over that. Alex Albon, at the moment, those two sectors weren't looking the best. So he's just come back into the pits. Wasser, at the moment, he's on the medium tyres. He's personal best of the first sector, personal best of the second sector, 1.7 seconds off. At the moment, this lap, it's looking good enough to knock Stroll maybe in behind Hirwaka. So it's not a bad lap. If you can pull it together, can he get stopped out of the final corner? He can. And he pulls it around the final corner. What's this happen to be? 15th. So he lost about 6/10 in the final sector. Cool watching the. I haven't been to Bahrain, but I know the speeds are insane heading down that straight. So I'd love just to see the speeds. It's about you're averaging about 290 kilometers an hour. Is head straight down that straight. It is epic. I can tell you that much. It is probably epic. Most likely epic. Lando Norris, he's at the moment out there. I'm guessing, maybe. He's on an out lap on a brand new set of softs. So I think there's maybe 2 sets of softs that you get in this first practice session, but I know you have to hand a set of softs back. So in the medium speed corners, Lando Norris he's quite quick in the medium speed corners, and he's actually about 9 thousandths quicker than Gasly in the medium speed corners, which is actually heading into it's definitely heading through coming out of like turn 5 and turn 6. So turn 5 and turn 6, which is where Lando Norris he's actually come out of turn 3 and into turn 4. So this is indication of a medium speed corner into turn 4. And he's quite quick in the medium speed corners. So that's good to know. Frederik Vesti here, we were talking about this about half an hour ago. Frederik Vesti, IMSA GTP, 6th place. I asked the guys to put this back up on the screen. LMP2, he was 9th in LMP2. 2nd place in F2 in 2022 and 2023. But in 2022, he came 9th. In 2023, he came 2nd. In LMP2, 2024, he came 9th. So not a bad lap. It's not a bad lap. It's not a bad career for Frederik Vesti to pull his way up into Formula One and make his stand. As I was talking about, this is the indication of practicing heading into the pit lane. We need to go in lap here. So something's not right with the Albon car. So he's struggling with brakes in that car. So the brakes, now these brakes can easily overheat, especially around here because of how the air temperature is so hot. When you're running around out there, the brakes just seem to heat up a lot faster than what you need them to. So that's why you some of the time just see them just parked in the pit lane. But there's 13 cars out there that have done their fastest lap on softs. Drogovic is about to do his fastest lap of this session. It is most likely he will, unless he makes a mistake at some point. He's just actually had a massive opposite lock moment coming out of turn 10. So he's just had a massive opposite lock moment trying to get the power to the floor, and he's just slid it sideways. But for Drogovic, not a bad start. He's about 1.3 seconds. He's about 6/10 faster than Stroll to his second sector. So this is going to put him up 5 spots if he can finish this lap. Of course, he's in this car just for this session. He's lost about 8 thousandths in that last sector. He's 13th. So that was the closest prediction that I got to an actual lap time. It's the closest I've actually been. Beckhoff, he's down in 19th. He's about 8/10 off Nice in the first sector. He's 4th in the first sector to Ocon. But you won't get an indication as to how fast he is until you actually find out how fast he is to the second and third sector. So at the moment, this lap he's on to go 4th, but the indication will be sector 2. If he can improve in sector 2, he's cooking. But for the moment, he's 1.5. He's 2 tenths faster than Piastri, so not a bad start for him. He's currently 9th, so the softs work different for everybody else. It depends on how you have the car set up. For most of these drivers, some of them, they're really the rookies. On the other hand, they're getting used to the car. Beckhoff lost about 5/10 in that last sector to Piastri, but he's 12th, so not a bad lap. 6.5 minutes to go in this session. Lewis Hamilton, he's out there at the moment, 18th. He's 18th at the moment, so expect him to put a bit of soft rubber down and see what he can do. Now, it seems as if he's backed off here on this lap. I don't know if it's just me, but it just seemed to have backed off. I don't think he is backed off. He is definitely pushing that car. I was wrong. He has not backed off. He's about 2 tenths off Lando Norris. So, this lap, at the moment, it's to put him 3rd on this lap. Maybe closer to Norris. This is not a bad lap for the Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton. Luke Browning, he's down in 20th. PB the first and second sector. Now, if you cross that white line, if you go over the ripple strip in qualifying, that will give you a bit of a snack. The FIA might not like that. 33.8, he's about half a second off Lando Norris. Luke Browning, what does he do on this lap? Up into 13th, that's his fastest lap. 1.5 seconds off. 34.8. 1.6 seconds off Lando Norris. So, not a bad start for him. 5 minutes to go. 5.5 minutes to go in this session. Race engineer Jericho down there in the Williams garage. But yeah, this is practice 2, which of course, this is not real time. This is not real time. So if you're wondering what happens in this practice session, but without looking at the actual timing screens, which I'm looking at the timing screens at the moment, I've got half timing screen, and I've also got half, yeah. So, and then I've got the more timing down there. So I'm looking at all screens at the moment. I've got my eyes on everything at the moment. So yeah, Alex Albon, helmet cam at the moment, 4.5 minutes to go. Lando Norris though, 33.2, so he's looking quick, and so is the Alpine of Gasly. Williams team there shining the name of Alex Albon up on the floor. So cleaning the floor, maybe a bit of gravel was injected into the front part of the car, maybe a bit of gravel on the front wing. And that when you get gravel on the front wing, you might not notice it, but you tend to suffer in terms of the aerodynamics of the car. You see the smoke coming out of the rear end of Williams. But you tend to suffer a lot more in terms of the you just tend to suffer a lot more when you've got gravel on the front of the car. So that suffers in terms of aerodynamics. We saw Alex Albon, which is currently on screen at the moment. He was suffering just a little bit just a few moments ago with the rear end of the car bottoming out a lot. So that's a bit of a problem. Now, A person that I probably should have been expecting a bit further up there is Kimi Antonelli. He's down in 20th. And his fastest lap is a 37. He's done a 38 with Kimi Antonelli. He's done a P20. 4.5 seconds off. I'm going to try and get to the bottom of that. Because 4.5 seconds off for Kimi Antonelli is butter bomb absurd for a Mercedes like that. So he might have a mechanical drama inside of that car now. I think, okay, if I wire my brain back to 58 minutes ago, we heard Antonelli, he had a loss of power, so that might also explain why. I have short-term memory loss, apparently. My brain just isn't deciding to work today. It just isn't. It just isn't deciding to work at all. Alex Albon, at the moment, he's just popped in. He's at the moment 5 seconds off the pace. So he might be doing a bit of a late practice race run. Pulling his race strategy together, maybe. That might be a thing. That might be what he's doing late on in this session. But he's even draining already. So that's quite strange. See the front end of the car, it's in the front wing, going over the curb. It's absurd. It's rattling. So car may be bottoming out over the curb. One of the Racing Bulls heading into turn 1. I'm guessing that's Ozzy Cadra. Yep, that is. And the number 6 Racing Bull car locking the front left up and possibly have a bit of a mark on that hard tyre. But it's going to be a massive talking point heading into, for example, qualifying, heading into even practice 3. Practice 2, for every main driver will be out there. So for people like Max Verstappen, for people like the other Williams driver that's out there, he'll be wanting to put some precious laps down. But for people that were in the cars, Lando Norris, Gasly, Hamilton, Albon, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Doohan, Lawson, Tsunoda, Piastri, Bortoleto, Hadjar, Leclerc, he's going to be under a bit of pressure heading into P2. But the other thing is that there's no red flags. No red flags. So there's no grass fires like there was in Japan. So no grass fires. There's actually more chance of a tornado around here. More chance of a tornado because of how dusty this circuit gets. But yeah. I'm just looking here on my timings. It says the rubber levels have increased and the grip levels have also increased. So that can be because of soft tyre when it wears out. Like when you put soft tyre rubber down, it tends to rubber the circuit up. So rubber levels are now just saying they're high. There you go. Grip levels are also increasing, so that's a good thing. But the session has ended now. And Oscar Piastri has just started his lap. I think he had about a second left. So he crossed the line there, Oscar Piastri, with about a second left on the clock. That is good timing from Oscar Piastri. But he's P10 at the moment. He's possibly looking to improve. Maybe doing a bit of a quali run. Trying to get ahead of other people out there. He's actually not on lap here. So he's doing a bit of a race run here. He's about a second off. He's matching with Jack Doohan in the first sector. So it's good to know. But it's cool to watch the helmet cam of these cars, these drivers. Watch the helmet cam and it's quite cool. Quite cool. So 60-minute session done for Formula 1. My plan, I was hoping I was going to be able to stream Formula 3 and Formula 2, but it turns out I just don't have the time to do so. So I won't be streaming Formula 2 and Formula 3. So, yeah. I won't be streaming that. Oscar Piastri at the moment, he's going to finish his lap. Everybody's practically crossed the line except Iwasa and Antonelli, who's currently in the pit lane. So, checkered flag waves, and Piastri finishes his lap, and he does a 1:35.7. So there you go. FP1 all done. Every person has crossed the line, and Lando Norris was the first of those people to cross the line, but he's dominant in FP1. Lando Norris won 33.2 to wrap the session right up. But of course, I'm going to be back from about 4 p.m, just around about 4 p.m. here. But for Rasa, that car is being worked on at the moment, so hopefully he can get back out there for FP2. But yeah, that's it for FP1 for everybody watching. Thank you for joining in. But yeah, that's FP1 done. I'll be back for FP2. Definitely be back for FP2. I'll be streaming that in a couple hours time. Give myself a bit of a break. But yeah, I'll be back from about 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, streaming Free Practice 2, and then back Sunday, tomorrow, from 10 a.m. to stream Free Practice 3, and then qualifying a bit later on from about 2 p.m. So, not bad. Practice starts going on. So Frederick Vesti there, thanking the opportunity for all the team to give him that epic opportunity at the end of that session. Practice starts going on. For everybody watching at home, oh, that was a lot of wheel spin, but he ended up getting off the line quite nicely. It's a traffic jam on the line, quite legitimately. So, for the people that voted Oscar Piastri in that session, he finishes 10th. So, not convenient, but for Oscar Piastri, he finished 10th in that session. So, for people that voted Lando Norris, you were absolutely correct. He's showing pace. That is definitely something. But for the rookies, Iwasa, Vesti, Dragovic, they've done an amazing job, and they'll be thanking the engineers for letting them have this opportunity, getting a few laps. I mean, what a better place to do a 60-minute practice session than Bahrain. It's an amazing place to do it, and it's an amazing place to really get a feel for the car. But there'll be a few of these sessions to do this sort of stuff. So yeah, not a bad start to this weekend. But the people that I'm going to be expecting to see up there in FP2 is Oscar Piastri. I'm going to expect him to possibly do a bit better of a lap. He's about a second off, so he's down in 10th. But not a bad start. We're just looking at some of the replays here, so I'm just waiting for the results to mainly pop up at the moment. But yeah, not a bad session. Thank you everybody that joined in. 3 likes on this stream, so not a bad start. But about 65 minutes, so not bad at all. But that's the end of the session. Lando Norris, championship leader, takes the session unexpectedly. Not to be expected whatsoever. But for that person that voted on my poll, Oscar Piastri, well, he's 10th. So, not where you wanted it. But for the results, and they finally pop up. Lando Norris, fastest in FP1, and followed by Pierre Gasly and Lewis Hamilton up there in 3rd. But Lando Norris, Pierre Gasly, Lewis Hamilton up there. Alexander Albon in 4th, Esteban Ocon in 5th in the Haas, Nico Hulkenberg in 6th, Jack Doohan the Aussie in the Alpine in 7th, Liam Lawson, the New Zealander, in 8th, Yuki Tsunoda in 9th in the Red Bull Racing Honda, Oscar Piastri in the McLaren in 11th, in 10th, as I said, Gabriele Bortoleto in the Kit Sauber, Isaac Hadjar in the Racing Pool Honda, Luke Browning in 13th, Beckenoff in 13th, Lance Stroll in 15th, Felipe Djokovic, Hiraka in 16th, 17th, Frederick Vesey in 18th, Iwasa in 19th, and Kimi Antonelli in 20th. So, not a bad session at all for Free Practice 1. I will be back from 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.